Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Dead Men Tales, our Seventh Sea adventure. I am the Ravnos Archon. My name is Will. I'll be your storyteller this evening. Last, we left off with our group. We got to see um, them meeting Frecky Broadside as he was awaiting their return to the Hacienda. We learned that he was looking for Malcolm Rutherford as he himself had gotten a missive inviting him to join in on the investigation. They explained what happened to the professor, and they invited this new face into their home and sat at the kitchen table to chit chat. We established that Angel knew of Gustavo de Aldana, that was part of the 3rd Regiment, who was an archer and was not known for his bravery, but had earned a name for himself as the best fletcher in Aldana. We also established that by ship, the trip would take about 2 weeks, and that by traveling by land, they would have to circumvent the mountains and causing them to take at least a month. Frecky willingly decided to join them in their endeavor to bring justice to Malcolm's murder, and he showed them the letter that had arrived, noting that it was an invitation and that it had a symbol that tied the two of them together. They discussed heading to Aldana to speak to Gustavo about the creature they are hunting. And they also discuss what to look for in a housekeeper to watch over the hacienda as they go to this other city. They revealed that the police were not particularly helpful when it came to Wastra the Wise, but Frecky made notion of his desire to follow that lead when they return. They also got to see that our friend never had coffee before and had to take out a bit of his extra exuberance out on a mango tree outside. But while all of that was happening, Angel managed to get passage on a trade ship that was making a stop in Rioja before dropping off another shipment in Puerto del Sur before pushing on to Adana. While he was away, their Vesten friend used some of the lumber from the fallen tree to do a makeshift shield for me, a kind of buckler. Angel also learned a little bit more about how the artifact of a bell that he has works, or might work. And when he rang the bell, he saw that there were 3 older children struggling against something invisible, and he could see that they had a familial resemblance to May and her husband. And when he asked them what they were struggling against, he saw one of them wrapped in black tendrils and immediately vanish. The other 2 appeared to have screamed, but they also vanished into thin air. Passage was set for the day after tomorrow. Groceries were also set to arrive. They got to meet with a couple of women about the housekeeper position. One of them immediately turned out and left as she was not prepared for the situation that she was getting into. But they ended up keeping one named Maria, and upon learning about how poor this young girl was, May made it her goal to kind of get her the minimum kind of necessities for her, especially like an extra dress, more clothes, things like that. Between Frecky and Angel, they tore up the stump so that a new tree can be planted, and we left off with them kind of separating for the afternoon to their respective tasks. We're going to pick up with our dynamic group. Hello, everybody. It's good to see your faces.
Hola.
So, is there anything pressing in the day and a half that you have between securing Maria as a housekeeper, ordering a new mango tree, and setting up your La Cena?
I got nothing going on right now.
No, nothing pressing on my end. Other than learning how to make coffee. That's really the only thing.
Okay.
As long as Maria's set up, we're good.
All right. So we're gonna pick up a little bit over 2 weeks as you arrive in Adana. The city is a hotbed of activity compared to San Agustin. Unlike the previous city that kind of required ferries or ships to leave the island, Adana has many opportunities for you to travel to and from. There are ferries that can traverse the bay to take you to San Teodoro or even San Felipe in the south. There's a caravan that can travel west on the road to the capital San Cristobal, or even north to Cepeda in a different duqueda, and even a river excursion that can take you to Punta del Sur. As such, the city feels much more like a tourist haven than San Agustin did. Here, though, you can definitely see the effects of the war on Castile. Although the city is huge compared to San Agustin, it's about twice the size. Um, a lot of the facades and accoutrements that hang are weathered, cheap, or otherwise lacking in a certain feeling of honor or admiration for what they represent. Across the city, you can see some of the banners for the other nations. They're about a good size. All of them look uniform. From this distance out in the port, they look maybe to be about 10 feet by 25 feet. Kind of hanging like shields, cloth shields. But the Montaigne section looks to be half the size. They're much smaller. That might be biased on the situation that happened. But you can only imagine that this must denote neighborhoods like the little Eisen area that you had in San Agustin or the little Montaigne. The largest area belongs to Vodache. There's a big Vodache presence here in the city. But otherwise, there is a flag for every nation, for the Vesten, for the Usura, the Montaigne, like I said. Eisen has a little area. The Sarmatians have an area. The smallest looking area, because they only really have two flags. All the other areas kind of have a flag that denotes an area of effect, a kind of cube of square blockage. Avalon has a single flag at one end and a single flag at the other. Looks like just one long street is dedicated to them. It is one of the longer streets, the longer unbroken streets in Adana, but it's still just the one kind of rail. You descend from the ship. You've been 2 weeks at sea. How's traveling been for some of you?
It's been a breeze for me, actually. I'm actually used to traveling back and forth by ship, so
Yeah, you are.
it's very much second nature to me. Plus, I can sleep in my own clothes, and I won't get judged, so that's always nice.
Angel prefers to travel by land, but this is not any more uncomfortable than anything else that he's dealt with during the war or anything of that nature.
How's
He's
May?
fine.
Yeah.
Not a problem. As long as she had her orange for the day.
Okay. Angel has been in Adana before. He knows what Adana's purpose is in Castile. It is the city best known for the equestrian arts. The best horses in Castile come from Adana. And so most of the city's streets are designed for 4 or 5 horses to easily kind of walk with riders down these avenues, and even the alleys are wide enough for two horses with riders to kind of go riding through. Not everybody has a horse, though. even with the knowledge that this is the nation's kind of horse capital, they're not really prolific. You'll see one or two here and there, um, but everybody that has them looks like they have the money to own a horse.
Mhm.
Caring for a horse is expensive.
Horse is expensive.
I wanted to ask, I know you brought up a bunch different flags that denote different areas. I didn't do. Where's the Vesten? If there
Uh,
is.
there is a Vesten group. The Vesten, the Usurans, and the Montanes all are in the northern end of the city.
Yeah.
The Vodache and the Avalonians are on the eastern part. Ison and the Sarmatians are on the western part of the city. It looks like the central part has this massive square um, where you can see different little vendor tents set up and things like that, different shops. It looks like to be the most crowded of the city areas, and that's mostly where all the trade happens. But the city opens up to you. Um, the captain decided not to give you any directions anywhere because he saw that you have a Castilian with you. So unless you approach about directions to any place, the city is yours.
Do I know where to find the guy that we're looking for, Gustavo?
Gustavo de Adana has a fletching and bowery shop on one of the edges of the square, the main square. It is called, as soon as I can find it. I wrote this down. There it is. Adana's Feathers.
Okay. My friends, if it's up to you, but I am of the opinion that it is best for us to go and take care of our business first, and then, depending on how that goes, is we can take in the sights and sounds of the city.
I'm fine with this.
What you're saying is we got to work first before we drink. I am perfectly all right with that.
Yeah, this is what he's saying.
So I lead my friends through the town. Absolutely not like a tour guide type leading, but like we're going to where we're going
Okay,
type situation.
sure. Um, you're Castilian. You know how to handle the streets. You know how to handle the vendors that come up. It might not be like a modern day Mexico City where kids come running up with like chicle, but it is kind of similar where kids will come up with like jerky and try to put it in your hand to force you to buy it from them.
Right.
But it's not too hard to get to the square and then find Adana's Feathers. And you see that inside the shop looks to be one of the smaller storefronts on the street. There's maybe two or three assistants that are sitting at tables, either carving the shaft or kind of hammering the heads or actually cutting the feathers and marking them the traditional way that Adana's feathers is known for. At the back end, sitting at a larger desk with one of everything, like he has a couple of long pieces of wood that look like they're about to get knocked. He has string kind of coiled up on one side. He has a couple of shafts that have already been whittled down and are just waiting for the last bit of fletching to be put on. It doesn't look like he is concentrating on one project at a time. But the moment the door opens, one of the younger trio looks up, and a young lady comes rushing over. She was the one that was cutting feathers, but she comes over. Hello, hello, ¿cómo están? How can I be of service to you?
We're actually looking for the proprietor of this establishment, Gustavo del Mar.
Ah, are you friends of Gustavo?
More friends of friends. We were referred to come here by Ian Malcolm. Or no, Ian
Malcolm Eon Rutherford.
Malcolm Ian Rutherford. Thank you.
Her the color washes out of her face when she hears the name. And then she goes, "Oh, sí, claro, claro. Just one second. Let me see if the maestro is free." And she rushes to the back of the store. On one wall, you can see on pegs the kind of bent wood. It's very soft. There's about 6 different arced pieces of wood that are all set up to display as offerings for purchase. And even at from the door, you can see that they're fantastic pieces of work. You guys
I'm
gonna
sorry,
stay at
where
the
is that
door?
located? No, I'm gonna walk in.
That's on the far wall.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going.
Okay.
Just want to go ahead and take a look at it.
Angel stays sort of in the center of the room.
Okay.
May lets
know-
her eyes do the shopping, but she'll stay by Angle.
Frankie?
I do want to ask. I know we didn't talk about this. I don't know how much money, if any, that I have.
You have enough to take care of yourself, unless you have the wealth background. It is assumed that you have enough to kind of cover expenses.
Money
so far I
doesn't
haven't hit-
exist.
I mean, it
So
does.
far, I haven't paid anything yet. So
Mhm.
everything's been given to me so far.
Yep. If you wanted to buy something, this is when wealth would come into the equation.
Okay.
There are ways that you can earn a living if you wanted to do different jobs outside of the thing, so you get some spending coin. Because right now it is assumed that you've had enough for your travel, and
Mhm.
now getting here is where you got to start to fend for yourself.
Copy that. So yeah, I look at all of this fancy stuff and look into the pouch of coin of where I would have coin, and I realize I don't have any, and I'm just like, this is sad. This is all window shopping is all what I'm doing now.
Mhm.
So how long till this guy gets here?
I imagine a master craftsman may be busy. A certain amount of respect for his work and what he and his time.
I mean, what I see here is very good.
Is this all, like, as I look around? Is this all just crafted of what he's done, or is this
Yeah, this
all
is
stuff
this
he's
is
also
all stuff
collected?
that he or his pupils have done.
Okay.
There are barrels of arrows that have been kind of bundled together in groups, and every
Mhm.
barrel has a different kind of drawing to show you what kind of arrow it is. So there's like flesh cutters, there's rope cutters, there's whistling arrows, things like that.
All right, nothing I like. Just keep
Yeah.
moving.
But after a moment, you hear the old man in the back slam his hand on the table, and the young girl kind of startles, and he waves her away, and you'll see him kind of stand up, fix his vest, um, run his hair back, and then make his way over to you. He looks frail. Um, Definitely not the appearance of a master archer. Um, Maybe about 5'3", 5'4". If he stands up, he has a little bit of a hunch. Um, Thin body, uh, dark circles around the eyes. It definitely looks like he burns the candle at both ends. Excuse me. Um, and simple worker's shirt, a vest, some slacks, and some boots. And as he comes over, you see the fakeness of his smile crawl across his face. Gustavo de Adana, at your service. How can I be of service to you, travelers?
This conversation is a strange one, and I am not certain that it is the type of omen that you would want to bring into your shop. Do you have somewhere that we could speak in private?
I have an office in the back, yes. I know that this concerns Malcolm Rutherford. Are you here to pay his debt?
This is something that we can discuss in the office.
Very well. And he leads you back past the desk that he was working on. And you can see that when he slammed his hand down, he broke one of the shafts of an arrow. But he takes you to the back. There's maybe these two love seats, this large, like 5-person couch, and a small table where this is where you would bring like charcuterie and kind of have picanha between everybody that's back here. But he motions to the two love seats, and he sits in the center of the couch.
Angel stays standing.
Mhm.
May will sit.
Ricky?
No, I'll sit on the floor by the actual love seats.
Like an
uh,
animal.
before we get too much into the business that brings us here, uh, two important pieces of information that I need to tell you. First, Malcolm Rutherford has died.
You see him under his mouth just cursing.
And the second one, I am unaware of his debt. However, he was a friend of mine. Depending on the nature of his debt, it may be something that I can help you with. It would not do for a man of his nature to die indebted to anyone.
Your accent is Soldano, yes?
No,
I thought you were from the
no,
Soldano,
I'm
UK.
from Torres.
Oh,
I'm
you're
from Torres.
Toreño.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes, your accent is Toreño.
Yes, from the mountains.
That makes
My
sense.
apologies, my manners. When delivering bad news, I lose my thread. Ángel Aranda del Cuervo. A pleasure to meet you. Formerly of His Majesty's Tercio.
You see, he sinks down when you say that you're Tercio. What kind of Tercio are you, Angel Aranda? Because I knew Tercios that were degenerates and cutthroats and the worst that Castile had to show the world.
When men spend too much time in the savagery of war and return home to no pay, no country that will care for them, it is easy for them to become savages. However, I am very fortunate, and I had something to fall back on when I returned. Although I lost just as much as anybody else in the war.
What are your thoughts on the Cardenal?
My thoughts on the council and the advice that they give to the king and the current direction that Castile is taking is perhaps not the conversation that I have with someone that I just met.
Understood. I just, given the information that you have given me so far, and my experience with the tercios that I went to war with, I find that the connection between one and the other is more prevalent than I would like. I apologize if my line of questioning makes you uncomfortable, Aranda.
Um, Less a matter of comfort and more a matter of certain opinions, when shared out loud with the wrong people, can lead to questions that I do not have time to be answering.
I understand. It's just that you are a tercio. I have a reputation among the tercios, so I wanted to know where you, as a person, land on that reputation.
This is the guy that we had heard was really good to the people, or no, that was the general, right?
That was the general.
Yeah, okay.
This guy, you know, is an excellent marksman, but has a reputation of being a coward.
Your reputation, as far as I know, uh, is what happened during war. It does not necessarily mean who you are. As far as my opinion on the cardinal, I want nothing but the best for my country, and I am uncertain that he does as well.
You are certain.
I am uncertain
Oh,
that he does as well.
I just wanted to make sure that I'd heard correctly. Miranda.
The politics in our country have become
Muddy?
difficult for good men to be involved
Did you lose anything in the war, Senor Aranda?
in. My land, my bride, and anything that I had any chance to make of my life. My father and family are now in the capital attempting to play the politics game and regain something.
I wish them well.
The court is a nest of vipers.
More than you would know, my friend. Because of your candor and your honesty, I can tell you that you do not have to worry about Senor Rutherford's debt. Um, I will not. I'm not the kind of man that would go hunting a dead man's family for what he owes. His debt dies with him.
That is an honorable way to handle your debts.
For all of his daydreams, he was never a terrible person.
That is my experience. As far as daydreams, what brings us today is more nightmares.
Go on.
Senora May uh, is from Eisen, and something from her neck of the woods has found its way to San Agustin,
That is a
and
far trip.
it is killing people, including Mr. Rutherford.
And he turns his attention to May. What kind of creature is come so far from your home, Senora?
Creature that will kill no matter what. Half wolf, half nightmare with tentacles.
Malcolm wrote the word Albdruk.
Yeah. Have you heard of such a creature?
Once. The tentacles are new. Or at least they were never shown to me.
Yeah, they're very tough.
But I do remember one very strangely quiet evening in Eisen. We had just learned that the Cardinal had forsaken our group. At least that is what the other soldiers were murmuring about. Our movements were only known by certain people, and there was no way that the Eisen could have descended upon us so quickly. And so doubt began to eat away at the morale. Grumbling led to shouting, shouting led to fisticuffs, and we separated. I made my way back home. That was the last time that I ever left Castile for other lands.
Where were you in Eisen?
Somewhere near the dark forest, I forget what you call it.
The rewards, but you'd have to be a little bit more specifically, have many of them.
I apologize. I did not know that your land was littered with dark forests. We have one or two here, but they do not stay dark for long.
At least you can go into your forests.
Yes. Not that I would. I like to take my surveyor with me whenever I go looking for new lumber for my boats. And so we like to stay on a hill maybe a half a mile away. The further I am from a forest, the better I feel at all times, which is why I'm
You're not wrong.
in the heart of the city.
Makes for a wise choice.
A fellow archer and a tercial that was not a bandit or cutthroat in a previous life followed me south from the enemy's territory. And when we sat down to camp, that was when I noticed that there were no sounds of nature. None of the nightingales, the night creatures, none of the flutterings or scamperings could be heard. And then we heard the one thing that I will never forget to this day. That was a very deep rumbling of a growl, a howl. Far, maybe a mile at best, maybe less. I warned them that we might have stumbled into a den of some kind or close enough to have warranted the response. It would make sense. No creatures would want to be so close to their own demise. I wanted to leave. I wanted to take our fire with us and push on until daylight. And they did not. The Tercio, so courageous. He truly was an inspirational figure to his troops. He would have been a fantastic leader, I think. But he survived. But he was the first to fall. And I stayed up. I did not trust the howl, regardless of the distance. But a man can only stay up so long before exhaustion claws at your eyes and forces them to close. I found myself letting my head fall, my eyes becoming heavy. I had not heard the wolf again. And instead of reinvigorating myself, I fell prey to the same hubris that my group had shown me. Exemplified, really. I found myself pulling the notch, the string from my bow, making sure not to weaken it overnight. But I kept an arrow in my hand, firmly, like a knife, just in case. I don't know how much time passed, but it was still dark. Still nighttime. I could not see the sun. I knew that we were far from morning. But I heard the crunch as this massive wolf's jaw came down on the Tercio's neck. It was quick, at least. And I yelled. The young man who had been with us, the archer, immediately rolled away from the scream. I tried to restring my bow as fast as possible. And I heard this young man fire off 2 arrows. Such speed. I envied him at times, but both hit dead center. This wolf rose up on 2 legs like a man and reached down and pulled these arrows from his chest like a nightmare.
I believe you.
Did not stick around to find out what happened. I ran. I ran until my heart was a burning ball of fire in my chest and it hurt to breathe. I ran until sun broke over the horizon and washed everything, every shadow that I felt was following me. I made my way to a small Ison village that had been in our march, where I had made an association with a farmer there. Showed me kindness, gave me a place to rest, something to drink, something to eat. And then he gave me the one thing I could never repay him for. He gave me the story of the Aldruka. The man who becomes a wolf, or the wolf that becomes a man. I think of nightmares and shadows. But because of their connection to the moon, they share its weakness. And you see him reach into his shirt and he pulls out the leather strap of his necklace, and it shows an arrowhead that doesn't glint like metal, like steel at least. Looks a little duller. Silver. And then he snaps the thing off his neck. If you are going to hunt this thing, you will need a worthy weapon. I unfortunately can only give you one arrow, so hope you have someone good.
I look at my friends. Does anyone know how to use a bow and arrow?
I'm okay with it, not the best.
Unfortunately, it's just these mitts, and then I smack the shield on my back, and that. But I can toss that pretty much as far as you can probably sling that arrow.
Uh-huh.
You want to
Okay.
test it? And I just go ahead. I get up. I'm like, oh, we could test this. And I go and take off my coat.
Nope, stop. 9.
He stands up. As a last favor to Malcolm, I'll give you one of my best arrows with a silver head.
I appreciate your gift and the information. Knowing what the weakness of the creature is definitely a step in the right direction for stopping the murders.
Aye.
And he leads you back out into the shop. You see him take one of the. It's almost a kind of what's the word? Kind of meditation for him to craft this arrow. It is meticulous. Every movement is done by rote, kind of muscle memory, but he fashions the arrow in what feels like a long time, but is actually maybe closer to like 10, 15 minutes, but could have easily felt like double that. And he motions, and the young girl that was helping you grabs one of the quivers off of the far wall. He very gently puts it in the quiver, and he grabs a bundle of flesh cutting designed arrows, and takes about half of them and puts them in. Here you go. I wish you well on this hunt.
Dankeschön.
Thank you, my
Vi
friend.
do appreciate it muchly.
I will make sure that I send you news of our hunt.
I thank you for everything that you have told us as far as this information. Uh, I do want to ask if if we wanted to fashion one of our weapons to have silver, where could we? Do you know of a spot or at least a vendor that we can speak with?
A silver, if you have never worked with, is very, very soft as a metal. I would not recommend using it as a basis for a weapon. Um, the arrow is good. It's one of my best. But I also would not use it beyond 300 feet. I would not. I would wait until you have a sure shot well within 50 feet so that you don't miss. There is anyone that can perhaps silver an edge of a weapon, I would trust the Vodachians or the Avalonians. They have several superstitions about silver and gold.
May I pray upon you? Do you happen to have any practice arrows? It's been a while. But I will want to get myself back to where I was.
That is why I gave you the other arrows.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
At this point, I'll just start heading out then.
Yeah. And he does show you, if May's going to be the one firing the arrow, he does show you how his his shaft for the silver arrow has been kind of scraped in such a way to make it feel rougher while still keeping its ability to fly straight, whereas all the other shafts that he's given you don't have the same texture to the end of the shaft.
Okay. She'll actually put like a little string, probably like a black string on it to tell the difference between the arrows. So she doesn't fire the wrong one.
Yeah. Make sure that you take that off before firing.
Of course. But I want to make sure that I'm not taking the wrong arrow.
Stand.
You're at the angle.
I believe we promised our Vesten friend drink and dinner after we accomplish our task.
Oh, thank you. Somebody remembered.
He's a walking table.
So we go,
Mhm.
and is there a restaurant in the Vesten section?
There is.
Yes, there is.
So we go to the Vesten section. I'm like, we've eaten German, we've eaten Castilian. Let's go eat some Vesten.
Oh, I can't wait to have food from the mainland.
And immediately once you walk in, like the smell of roasting goat just kind of wafts out.
Brings back memories.
The vegetable stock for their soup just kind of wafts out from this huge cauldron. The cooking fire that they're using is just this massive circular hot central open air oven. You can see that the cauldron's hanging. They have little grates that they'll slide over and throw meat on and just let the heat kind of cook over. But everything, all the tables kind of revolve around in a crescent shape. And the main cook is this massive mountain of a man. He is 6'5", about 4.5, 5 feet wide of just muscle. And you'll see him reach up, grab this metallic arm, and pull and the whole cauldron, which is maybe 2 feet of a diameter, will swing out and down from the fire. He'll stir it, he'll grab a little spoon, taste it, and throw in some spices and some more vegetables, and then he'll pick it up and put it back over the fire. You can see that this is why he is this massive monster of a man.
I look over to everybody. I'm like, this is actually this is a very good sign. The fact that you have somebody larger than myself as the cook, that means the food is going to be excellent. Please, let's find a chair. Let's find a table, something.
Uh,
Should Parker come underneath the pot so they could just put it in his mouth?
And I look around. I'm like, this is a fancy establishment. They're not going to allow me to do that. At least not the first time around.
So you haven't gotten the cook drunk yet.
See, on the nose with that.
Yeah. But he sees you, he smiles and nods at you as he's kind of like lifting the cauldron back into position. Anya, we have guests. And you see a lithe but muscular woman come out from the back. She is about 6'1". She has her hair bunched up in the front, where it starts to braid back. So it almost is like a murder hawk of just this braid that comes back and around her shoulder, and then back up and back over her other shoulder. But she comes over and she smiles as she comes to your table. Well, what can I get for you? We have a very good vegetable stock that you can add the lamb to if you would like. We have some very nice lamb that came in just the other day, so it's very fresh. Little on the salty side because of the travel, but it is pretty good. I recommend it with a little bit of pepper.
Oh, music to my ears. Please keep talking.
We can cut up some extra vegetables to put on the side. So we can roast.
No need. No need. How are the taters?
I mean, we have a room full of them, so they are in abundance.
All right. I don't even ask what everybody else wants. I go, just, you know what? All that sounds great. 3 of everything, and if you can just get 1 nice big bowl of smashed potatoes, that would be lovely. Thank you.
3 of everything sounds like it'll be more than what we can eat.
Speak for yourself.
He's our fucking trash bag. He'll eat it all.
Oh, I know this is going to be a very weird request, and pardon me for bringing this up. Would you have coffee?
We do not. But there is, if that is something you want, you can go to the Osurans. They make a good strong coffee. But there is a little shop called the Dark Roast in the Vodachi neighborhood. Highly recommend it.
I'm just pulling your leg, and I go ahead and I smack Angel in the back. I'm like, if I need coffee, I'll get it from him. Let's just get some grog coming.
Mead coming right up, and she goes to the back, comes back with 3 bowls, and you see that she doesn't even ask, but she just starts to climb up onto the gentleman and then just dips a bowl, hands it down to him, dips a second bowl, hands it down to him, and then dips the third bowl, and then just jumps down, and then with her hand kind of nestled up like a baby, he puts the other 2 bowls on her arm, and she comes over and puts the 3 bowls down. She goes over to a far wall where you notice that the round accents aren't actually accents, but they're built-in kegs. and
Oh.
she smacks the wall. A little spigot pops up, and she grabs small little wooden looking kind of barrel shaped cups, and she pours out 3 different ales, brings them over, puts them down in the center of the table. Um, what kind of cuts would you like for your goats?
Loin.
That's safe.
Madam?
Not
You know
on
what?
medium, please.
Yeah. I look over. I lean over. I go. I trust you guys. You give me what the cook eats, and I'll have that.
Understood. And she runs over to the back. But you have 3 bowls of soup and 3 meads in front of you.
All right.
Angel
go and I
grabs
just
a spoon and
Oh, there's no spoon.
No.
And I
Angel
just literally
grabs a
just
spoon
tilt
from his
it.
pouch.
I
Wipes
just
off.
tilt it over. Mm-hmm.
She just slowly starts to drink it.
So Anhel has his own spoon.
You travel enough,
Mhm.
and you learn to keep a utensil kit with you.
Oh,
100%.
fair. She's used to drinking. She's used to this kind of food, so
He's just like,
this.
Angel, if it's too hot, just blow on it. That's all you really need. You don't need to get away with that. You don't need that.
It's how they eat. It's the culture.
I understand, and it is a good culture.
I'm
However,
not like it is bad at all. You eat how you wish to.
I'm holding the meat in one hand, and I'm just literally pouring while I'm tilting it back down, just so this stops from going into my mouth, just
Yep.
so I can pour this in. Just going
The
alternating back and forth.
the mead is a huge reminder of your home. Aside from the honey, the thing that hits you in the front of your mouth is apple.
Okay.
But the thing that hits you in the back of your mouth is this very reminiscent sensation of syrup. There is an undercutting of the honey that, as all 3 flavors kind of come together in your mouth, the sharpness of the honey has been dulled by the softness of the syrup, but that sharpness is there because of the apple. It's a very intricate dance.
Oh no, it is a party in my mouth, and everyone is invited.
It is a fun time. And the moment you swallow, you automatically know that this is strong. If we were to use today's measurement of ABV,
Mm-hmm.
12%.
Oh, so this is a good mid-afternoon drink. I enjoy this. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is a lunchtime drink for sure. Second half of
Nice
your workday will go
lunchtime.
much faster after this.
I start nudging Angel. I go, you haven't even touched your meat. Why are you letting this go warm?
I thought it was like a wine. Normally, you drink that at room temperature.
No, this is more crisp. This is a mixture of fruits and honey and such that you drink it now.
Yeah.
So he'll take a sip.
Take your time, though.
No, and I
It
start tilting the cup up.
holds a bit of a punch.
It hits. Like it is deceptive because of the honey makes it sweet, and the syrup, but it isn't until you have like a mouthful of it that you're just like, oh, this is dangerous.
It's incredibly sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you can continue to just go, and it works so well with the soup. Just keep going, keep it going. You'll be fine.
It's supposed to marry different flavors together and give you a different how they say celebration in your mouth.
This
I
is
start waving. I wave over the waitress. I'm like, "Oi!"
She peeks out from the back. Yes, what can I do?
How long? Oh, excuse me. How long was the apples fermented? Yeah, it's like you let it go for about 3. Should at least be a month, right?
You hear her say something to the gentleman in Vesten. Are you the only one that speaks Vesten?
He is. I don't speak it.
Yep.
Oh, May doesn't speak Vesten?
No.
Oh man, we're gonna have a whole conversation.
Oh my god. And Angel the scholar also doesn't speak Vesten. But you hear her yell out, Papa, how long was the apple fermented? And he laughs. He only speaks Vesten. It was fermented 2 months, as your grandmother has always yelled at me if I do it any shorter than that.
And I hear that, right?
Yeah.
And I yell back out to him. I go, and you know what? This works so well. I know that you kept the honey to be burnt just enough so that you can have that caramelization is amazing. Like I say all of this, like
Yeah,
the
invest in.
caramelization from the burnt honey is amazing. I honestly, it is something that's so reminiscent of home. You must be from my family. There's no doubt about it.
And they laugh, and you see her come out with a small, kind of like half circle, like a little protractor of a grate in one hand, and then just this paper, kind of like this butcher's paper, of a handful of meat. She places it. She places the grill on the edge of the circle, and then she lays out the meat and starts cooking with her bare hand.
So and I'm still talking investing. So how long is this place? How long have you guys had this place?
And in Vesten, she says, we moved out here maybe, I want to say 10 years ago, after my mother passed, trying to give birth to my brother.
Oh, so sorry to hear that. I too have lost my mother when I was younger.
It didn't feel the same to stay home.
I completely understand, and I take it, you know, you as how was the reception here? I mean, I see that there's an eclectic group of people here.
Amongst ourselves, we are well. We do well for ourselves. With the war, how it ravaged Castile, things are different outside.
Mm. I take it. I look over. I look over at the cook. I go, and your father seems to be. I, if it wasn't for, if he didn't have to, if he didn't have to raise his shield, I take it he would have been the best cook in all of this continent.
And he
I'm happy
laughs.
for you.
And invests, and he says, I was never made for war. That was my wife's work.
Oh, a shield maiden after my own mother's heart. Love to hear it. And what part of Vesten are you guys from?
Oh, the western part, out by the peninsula.
Mm.
But she notices that everybody else is kind of like looking on, and she turns back to Old Thayan. I will have your meat ready in just a few more minutes. You said medium. Sir, how would you like your meat?
Who's and
Points at Angel.
uh
And medium rare. It looks like this is a place of quality, and you can always trust the meat there.
Very good. And she grabs what looks to be just a stone on the top of the circle of stones, Very thin, different color than the rest of them, and it looks like a plate. And she takes off a couple of pieces of meat first. Then she takes off the chunk of meat for May, and she lets the. You see that she kind of puts her whole hand on top of the meat that she's kind of patting down, flips it, pats it down again, flips it one
I,
more time, and then
I
she
look
pulls
over at
it.
me. I'm like, I saw her wash her hands. It's fine.
My mother was Vesten. I don't know how you cook.
Okay.
And she comes over and she puts the stone on the table in the center. And the moment that the stone hits the wood of the table, you can hear it sizzling. It's soft, but the plate does appear to be hot.
Mm.
The legends say that it was the Castilians that were friends of fire, but it seems that the Vesten are not against it either.
You'll get used to it when you have to do with it so much.
Yeah, you're not
And she
wrong.
shows you her hands are all calloused over.
Oh.
My mother used to teach the cooks and such to do this in the fields.
When she does that, I'm like, when she does that, I go ahead and I put my hand on the plate as well just to pat it.
It
So
is
I can be like,
hot.
yep. Yeah, you're better at that than I am.
Yeah, but she looks at her hands and she smiles. I am not the maid for a soft man. That is all I know. And the
I hit
gentleman,
Angel in the back.
the
Hit Angel in
gentleman,
back.
the gentleman by the cauldron just starts laughing.
Oh, sorry you lucked out there, Angel.
It is okay. As,
It is so.
it is a long way from my from where my from where my lady is.
Real quick, what is the name? I forgot to. I wasn't able to write it down. The name of the actual creature.
Alpdrucke.
Yeah, Druka.
The Aldruka.
True.
Yeah.
I know that it's fairly common for soldiers and whatnot to carry a mold for bullets.
Mhm.
Would that be something that Angel has?
I don't know if you would have it on you.
Well, yeah, I could be at home with my other stuff, but is that something that
Yeah.
I would have? Okay.
Yeah, I could say that it's something that could be part of your possessions.
So now that we're all eating,
Yeah.
Angel looks at the group. I am very concerned with the idea of trying to fell this beast with just one arrow.
I agree with you. That's why I'm considering possibly making an advancement to Tola, to Thola. And I clack the back of it, my back to where the shield is. Not to change it necessarily, but to at least get the edges silvered.
Silver lined.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Just enough that it can pierce this creature's skin and actually leave a mark.
When we return to San Agustin, I intend to make some silver bullets.
You teach
However,
me how to shoot. I teach you how to throw a bow.
this sounds fair.
Okay.
However, this is going to be expensive, beyond what our normal expenses already are.
Well, I guess we have to start working, yeah?
I have no problem working for my money.
I do it all the time.
Working.
I raise up my hand again. And, invest in. I say, young lady, because no matter how old she is, I'm going to call her a young lady.
Yeah. He comes over.
And I go back. I go back. Well, common or Olthian.
Okay.
Elthaean. If such respectable persons such as ourselves are looking for some kind of work just to get some extra money, where would you think that we would have to go for that?
I would go to one of the neighborhoods. Some of the Castilians do not have the coin to spare, unfortunately. Although we are far in the south and we still have a good income from the horses, it feels like several of the bigger families have been hit just as hard down here as in the rest of the nation.
Hmm.
It does not help that the cardinal of the duchy uh, is not the best, from what I have heard of the Castilian friends that we have.
Hmm.
Um, Chu, here
Yeah,
in Aldana, is there a house for the Knights of the Cross?
there is, of course.
Um, I think before we leave, I'm going to try and reach out to them.
Okay. Uh, yeah, but you finish your meal. You know, it's mid afternoon at this point. Where are you guys gonna go? What are you guys gonna do?
Bates is gonna say one thing over to Friek. You asked me once. I think you can answer. Yusra of Clan Volsong. That was my mother.
I recognize that name.
No.
Little bit shorter than her. Hair was really, really red. Pulled back, always in almost like a mohawk braid.
Hmm. That is a fashionable thing that I've noticed for shield maidens.
Oh yeah, she hit as hard as she got. Sometimes she'd actually knock most of the soldiers to the ground.
Well, if she is just as feisty as you are from if she is as half as feisty or you as half as feisty as she is, then she would be a formidable person indeed.
She was very much so.
Yeah, this
Um,
reminds me a lot of home.
Oh yeah,
since it's only afternoon, I'm actually going to try and meet with the Knights now.
Okay. You going by yourself, or are you taking them with you?
I let them know. With this idea of looking for work, it occurs to me that I might be better suited to finding patronage.
also.
There's an order of knights that my family has been members of in the past, and I was hoping to meet out to them at some point soon. But this situation with Ian happened.
Do you know what's wrong?
I think I will go check on them now and see if they can assist us in any way.
I'll check and see if anyone in the Eisen neighborhood knows of my family, and see if they can give me a bit of work.
If nobody needs accompaniment of Vesten, I will go ahead and check, on my end to see what we can do when it comes to some kind of something for us to use. I can only imagine when you say it's a lot, Angel. How much do you think that we would need for something that you're like for the bullets for my shield?
Well, this kind of expense would be the equivalent of running a home for several days, for several weeks. It is not it first the cost of the silver itself plus the cost of the labor. In the case of your shield, is more difficult. I simply have to melt down the silver.
Mm. Understood. But yeah, when would you want to meet back up then? If we're all going to go our separate ways.
Do we want to return to San Agustin in the morning and we meet up at the boat?
I can do that, yeah.
Okay. We will meet up in the morning then.
May
Okay.
All Father watch over
Yes.
you guys.
Yeah.
6 sessions and we finally split the party.
Yeah. So we'll handle May first as she goes into the Ison territory, little Ison neighborhood. It is on the western part of the city, not too far from the Sarmatians. It's 4 different flags mark out the 2x2 sections of the town that this area makes up. But immediately you smell the scents from ice and the thyme, the rosemary, the kind of very scent of the earth, kind of boiled mushrooms, very, very homecoming. What are you looking for?
Well, her father was a general, and she can do several things in hunting and such. She also knows quite a bit, so she'll probably go to an herbalist because of her background in the hexed ways. But she's mostly going to probably look for anyone that needs like help with brawling or weaponry or how to teach somebody or something. More of trying to see if anyone recognizes her or recognizes her last name to maybe say, hey, can I get it? I'll do some work for you really quick. Make a bit of coin.
If you walk into the apothecaries, because there's no real like herbalist,
Mm.
you see an older, maybe grandmother, very matron, has this motherly glow about her, wrinkled face. It is, if a if one of those, I think it's a bulldog that just has the bunch of wrinkles. If that could be a person, that's who this is. There's just wrinkles, 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 wrinkles.
Hey.
And when she sees you come in, she smiles. Her eyes disappear into the folds of the wrinkles, but her mouth is still very present. Almost creepy. There's a couple of teeth missing, but it is a genuine jovial smile. And she claps her hands, and a little bit of dust expels out from them. You don't know if it's because of the age or because of what she was working on, or a combination of the two. But she closes her hands and brings them up. Oh, hello, hello, yeah. What can I do for you?
Guten Tag, Bigot.
Guten Tag.
How are you doing today?
I am much better now that the old tongue has come to home.
You have no idea how it's been. It's been a while since I've been able to speak Aizen for a bit. I've been stuck in this land for about a couple of weeks. Not used to it.
You are far from home.
You know, have to travel, have to keep work going.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have any work or know anyone that needs some things done? I'm here and I need to get a little bit of coin.
Ah,
I'm from the Dietrich clan, so I don't know if you know of that family.
she takes a step back. Dietrich.
Markel?
clan.
Raquel? Yeah.
Uh, no, no, I am not familiar with this family. Um, if you require work, perhaps I would recommend that you travel down and see the hunter.
Okay.
I think that would be the best place for your skills.
Not a problem. I thought I was a general. I'll do what I can. Your name was, Mom?
Oh, unimportant, please.
Oh, I have never met anyone that was unimportant.
Oh, there are plenty of people that will fit that description, especially here.
Oh, but you are family. I should at
No,
least know your name to thank you
not at
properly.
all. Please, Dietrich, if we are done here,
You sure?
100%.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. She'll turn out and start walking.
Yep. The moment
But
you
she's gonna clock that.
the moment you go outside, you hear the door lock.
Scheiße. That's not good. Yeah, she's not gonna go down to the hunter. We're good. She's gonna immediately walk out.
Okay.
I'm not clocking that one for a hell of a thing. Jesus. Great.
Where are you gonna go instead then?
Don't know yet. She's gonna go to the docks and sit there for a moment.
Okay.
Just kind of let things mellow in the brain for a moment.
Okay. We'll follow Angel then as he goes over to the Knight's Sword and Cross. There is a beautiful office next to one of the many Vaticine churches that harken back to the first prophet. Of all the places to symbolize the growth of the Vaticine Church, Adana is the place to be. And although this is said to have been the first founded city in Castile, it definitely has the churches to stand by that point. And as you are approaching the office, a young gentleman, a little bit of like a 5 o'clock shadow, a kind of buzzed head comes over and just kind of stops you. Amigo, you don't want to go in there.
Are you sure?
I know that there are many who want to live the life of a hero, but I can assure you they are not heroes.
Are you saying that the knights are not heroes?
Not at all. Have you not heard about the corruption?
What has happened now?
Come, the street is too open. Let us pray. And he starts to walk into the church.
Angel follows him.
He doesn't slide into the last set of pews, but he slides into the one in front and just kind of pulls down a little padded kneeling bar. And kneels down.
Angel is a devout Vaticine, so he does what he's supposed to be doing.
Okay. And he very much is in hushed tones now, and he goes, "My friend, if I were to tell you that there is an order within an order that is looking to purify the corruption, to weed out justice, and bring us back to the nation we were before the war. Would that be something you are interested in?
I am interested in what is best for my country, for my church, for my king.
The
And this
knights,
corruption is definitely something that needs to be taken care of.
the knights are not the way you want to go about, then, my friend. They are being used as political pawns. But, as I have said, I will allow you to make your own decision, but should you choose to want to perform your duty as a good Castilian, and he grabs one of the Bibles, puts a pamphlet into it, and then puts it in front of you. Hope that I will see you later tonight. And he gets up, puts his hand on your shoulder as he gets by you, and you see him leave the church.
Angel continues his prayers, but opens the Bible and reads what he put there.
It is a pamphlet for an organization. It looks like the symbol of the first prophet, but there's an eagle with wings spread, where the symbol just kind of sits in the center of it and comes up like the beak. You've seen it before. You've never seen them so brazenly fish for recruits, but that is the Inquisitio of Aquila,
Okay.
the Inquisition.
Angel is decently against the Inquisition.
Mm-hmm. This is the Inquisition's intelligence network, so
All right.
makes sense why he would say what he said about the knights.
Right. I go back to the knights. Yeah, because the knights are without country. They are not inside of political. What happens in Castile does not necessarily affect the knights as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that makes sense what he was talking shit about now. So I go back to the knights.
Yeah, and you see the squires at the front gate look you over. Definitely Aldanians as far as their accent goes. Aldanos. A business or bounty?
Business.
Is there a knight in particular you're looking to talk to?
Actually, would I know who's the knight here using scholarship? Or my I don't know, my culture? Not sure what that would be.
I think it would be more warfare than scholarship.
Okay.
So if you want to make a roll with warfare, that would be wits and warfare.
Okay, and I get one die because it's the first time I'm using it for the night.
Yep, so 6 die pool.
This is the first roll. This is the first roll I think in the session that I've been in. This is the first one.
All right, so I've got an 8 and a 2, a 5 and a 6, and a 9 and a 3. So I've got 3 raises.
3 raises. Yeah, just what you needed. As far as Castile is concerned, there is a knight that is representative of Aldana, the Aldana Duque. This is a gentleman by the name of Agustín de los Ríos de Cristobal.
Agustín de los Ríos de Cristobal.
Yeah.
So I tell the squire, my father has sent me to speak with Agustín de los Ríos de Cristobal.
Oh, of course. Let me see if he is available to speak to you. He nods at the other squire. He goes inside. After
I tell him my name before he goes.
okay. After 10 minutes, he comes back down, and you see a very different gentleman than you imagined. And the moment he speaks, it's very clear that this is not Augustine, but it is a thin fellow, a little bit of an oblong head, shaved head, graying tufts of hair on top of his eyes, this very manicured curl of a graying mustache, and just this tuft of hair that shoots down like a knife from underneath his lip. And you hear him click his heels together as he bows. And hello, my name is Gregory Otto Ritter. Unfortunately, Knight Augustine could not meet with you, but I am available. Would you like to talk inside?
If you please. I apologize for coming without warning or introduction.
It is well. And he leads you inside to a meeting room. There's a small table that looks to sit about 6 people, but the extra chairs have been pushed to the far ends of the room, and so it's just the 2 across from each other. And he motions to one, moves around the table, and sits at the other one. How can I be of service to you, sir?
My name is Ángel Aranda del Cuervo. My family was the guardians of El Salto del Cuervo in the Duque of Torres for many generations. I fought with His Majesty's Tercios in the war against Montaigne, and I was an officer in the regiment. My father has asked that I come and speak with the Knights of the Cross in an attempt to join your order.
We would be honored to have you, Angel. I have heard much.
Otra vez con Ángel.
Mhm.
Germans.
I have heard much of the Torres Duque. It is unfortunate what happened there. As there is an initiation. I hope you are understanding of this.
I am understanding. I also understand that the knights, it seems the squires say that you also accept bounties.
We have been accepting bounties as of late. This Duque in particular has been difficult to earn coin in. And so we have expanded our reach, as it were.
I understand. What is the initiation? What is it that you require of me?
Here in Adana, the only issue that we have had with the established order of things is that there is a group that we believe belongs to the Cardinal's Inquisition. As they have made things difficult for us here. As such, if you could bring us the name of someone in the ring of power, that could easily earn you a place among our ranks.
Infiltrate the Inquisition and bring you the name of one of their leaders.
Correct.
I remember that Deus had said the knights had to kill dragons to join. This seems like it may have been an easier task.
There are few dragons here in Castile. If you were in Eisen, my home, perhaps a dragon would be more in line.
So, Angel was clearly joking, but he's like, "Oh yeah, dragons." And then Angel's like, "Wait a second.
Yep.
Wait a second, dragon." Um, this seems like something I might be able to do.
That's good. You were a soldier from here, so I have faith in your abilities.
Okay. I will return to you this evening. It will be late.
So I look forward to it then. And he gets up, snaps his heel together, and bows. And motions for the door.
Angel bows and he leaves.
Alright. Frecky, where are you throughout all of this?
Well, since we all went into a shop, I imagine the pub that we went into was in the Vesten area.
Yep.
I imagine. So I'm gonna stay in that area. Let me see. So what I'm going to do is check with. Is there an inn or is there a place that you can see where people have stayed, a stable, something that you know that you can tell they use for lodging?
There is a bigger place, a bigger 2-story building that looks to be able to house more than just a family. It doesn't have any signage though.
Mm-hmm.
But looking through the window, you can see that there is a bar. There are a bunch of kegs in diamond-shaped alcoves in the wall behind.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll walk on in.
Yep. There's an older gentleman. Does not look Vesten by the look of him. Small, maybe about 5'5". Tan skin, leathery. And as you walk in, he's cleaning the bar. He looks up at you. Hello. How are you, my friend?
I look around. I'm like, not so bad considering the weather today. How about yourself?
You know, trying to keep cold in an otherwise hot summer. A drink for you?
Sure. I go on ahead and I sit at the table. I sit at the bar there, the
Yep.
bar stool, if they have one.
Yeah.
Oh, please forgive my manners. Frecky Broadside. And who do I
Oh,
have the pleasure of speaking with?
it's nice to meet you. My name is Delano. Delano del Valle.
Now, please don't take offense to what I'm about to ask.
Oh,
I wanted to know, considering the area that we are in right
yes.
now in Adana, I take it that it's pretty peculiar that you would have your establishment set up here.
It is because of what I am. You are correct. I do find it a bit offensive.
My apologies, please. And I go ahead, whatever the cost is for that for the meat that he's providing, I'll double it.
Okay. He smiles as he sees you put in double the coin that it normally is, and he goes, "To answer your question, my large friend, my wife is Vesten. We decided to create this establishment so that people could feel at home away from home. But although we do cater to Vesten, my people are welcome here as well. We don't discriminate, except for Montaigne."
Understood. And again, I humbly apologize for the way that for my questioning. You just took me by surprise is all. But considering the where I've come to as far as from the port, I should not have been surprised by the fact that this is becoming, I guess, the word that they use, a melting pot, I think is what. Yes, melting pot.
Oh, there is definitely some melting going on. Have you been outside?
Oh yes, I have. Uh, you know, again, sorry to impose, but you've been so cordial with me. Uh, if there happened to be somebody of my stature and size that needed to get extra coin, you know, needed help, I know that usually our profession allows us to do more of the, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? More rough type of trade.
Hmm.
You know, somebody that doesn't mind getting their hands dirty.
Understand. There is a couple of kegs that I do need to move from the back to the front. So I'd be willing to give you back your coins and give you some extra coins for that work.
Yeah, I look back around. Is it lively at all?
Not at all.
This
There's nobody
bar?
in there.
No. At what day? And this seems like it's midday still.
Yep.
Okay. Do you normally? I imagine this place gets packed at night, doesn't it?
It can. Yeah, depending.
And when was the last time you had a packed house here?
Oh, want to say maybe a month ago. We had a nice grouping. There were some musicians that are coming to town from the empire to the east. They went from place to place performing.
How about an exposition of strength, so to speak?
Oh, you are in the wrong place for that, my friend. Have you looked at everybody?
I take it. I grab those barrels as I'm talking to him. I'll just grab them.
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
I'll just start walking with them as I'm talking to him.
Mhm.
I go, think of it more as an attraction. I mean, I'm thinking if you get enough people to drink enough of the mead, I think that they'll try to put their hand in, maybe, wanting to see somebody like myself, who knows, have to subdue a couple of people at a time.
He pats your shoulder. He's like, "You're a handsome man, sir, but I can tell you that nobody wants to see you wrestle any man. If you want to wrestle a bear, that would bring people in."
I lean over to him, and you have a bear?
He leans back into you. I can get a bear.
Well, sir, I don't know why you're still here. I can watch the front for you if you'd like. Go right ahead and grab.
Oh no, I'll send my wife. That's what she's good for.
So, I go. Is there anything else you need me to move? Because now I need to actually start. See, it's one thing to actually have, the attraction. Now it's just making sure everybody knows about this.
Oh, everybody's gonna know about it. Trust me.
Great.
We're gonna make sure to
Awesome.
parade the bear through the city. Don't worry about that.
Oh, no. So I go ahead and I start looking around. I go, okay. So if we're gonna have me fight a bear, so I imagine we wouldn't want it to be outside. We need people to bring in, again, for the attraction. So they have to pay to come in. Now I'm not
He
gonna
goes
ask
over.
for.
He goes over to a wall and he pounds on it. Pounds his fist against it, and it clicks open, and you just see a bunch of rope just tumble down. You think this is the first time I've had somebody fight a wild animal in front of my business? No, my friend.
Yes.
Buckle up.
Yes.
We're going to close off
I-
the whole city street.
So this is again now my first time around doing this. So, am I, if you want, if I happen to best this bear, or if I happen to get this house packed, uh, let's just say I want to say 20% of the actual entrance.
He leans
I'm
in.
not asking for a purse.
He leans into you. My friend, if you best this bear, I'll give you 30%.
Put out my hand and I shake it. I just take his hand and shake
Yeah.
it. All right. Excuse me while I go do some. I got to do some calisthenics now.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
go outside.
Do what you need to do, my friend. And we shift back over to May as you come over to the docks.
She kind of surveys things before she just thinks, you know what? I speak Avalonian. Might as well see if I can get some work over in Avalon. Or the Avalonian street.
Okay.
If Eisen's closing their door, yeah.
Okay.
She'll try and look to see if somebody has work.
You go to the Avalonian street and everybody tells you to go to the embassy. The embassy is where everybody kind of congregates. That's the best place to kind of look at the call board and see if there's anything going on over there.
She'll do that.
And while you're there, you see that there's a line to kind of talk to the person at the counter, but there is a call board, kind of cork board with messages that have been stabbed in or fashioned in some way, like by squeezing it into the borders. Excuse me. You notice that one of the notices just has MIR AOC archaeologist underneath it.
MIRQRC?
M period, like a fancy M, a period, a fancy I, a period, a fancy R, a period. Underneath it, AOC. Not as fancy. And then underneath that, archaeologist.
Okay, she'll take it. Would it have an address or anything by it, or do I need to go to the person?
It does not. If you open it, you'll see a very familiar handwriting. At the bottom, it is signed Malcolm Eoin Rutherford, agent of the Crown, archaeologist.
Motherfucker.
The message says, I hope this missive finds you well, though. I hope this missive finds you well, though if you are reading this, most likely you will not. If you are looking for me, I have arranged travel to San Agustin, on the eastern edge of the nation. If I am no longer for this world, then I can only assume the treasure I sought claimed me as it has done to those before me. If it is the former, I await your arrival with much excitement. If it is the latter, let me warn you that the road ahead will be treacherous. But I need you to finish what I've started. There is an artifact that was brought into Castile through San Agustin. It is something that could topple entire governments, mine included. My notes should help you parse out myth from truth, or so I hope. I know the chalice will require 3 other artifacts to properly endow its recipient with its powers. I was following rumors of one here in Adana, but the trail led me in circles, so I am moving on to one that is supposed to be hidden in San Agustin. Should you find yourself on the trail here in the city, I can warn you to beware the wolves in sheep's clothing. They will make their presence known by their hubris. If they are still in the city, I ask that you check in on my associate, Beatrice Tandy, at the map makers and bookstore here in town. She has been a grand friend, a staunch ally, and just don't let her near a kettle. Your stomach will thank me. Yours, Malcolm Ian Rutherford, agent of the Crown, archaeologist.
Do I know Beatrice Tandy? that name sounds awfully familiar. Was she the one that died?
She's not the one that died.
Okay, good. Want to make sure.
Yeah.
With that, she's going to start swearing and start going to find Engel. Because, son of a bitch.
And with that sentiment, I think this is a good point to call it for tonight. So I want to thank all of you guys. I want to thank you, the audience, for joining us as always. I hope you guys are enjoying the story. I am 6 episodes, and we finally get to see somebody working towards their story. I love that 7th Sea doesn't really have an experience track like some of the other games. I love that it really does kind of cement you in trying to make your character become something of themselves, and the story function of that is really wonderful. So I'm glad that we finally got to do some progress on that.
Well, if you stop killing us and throwing werewolves at us,
One time, bro.
Oh
One
man, I
time.
missed werewolves.
It only
Yeah,
takes
that's
one
One
time.
werewolf. One werewolf.
I got here
we
soon.
went 5
One
episodes
time.
where we went 4 episodes where someone died every episode.
Nobody died this episode.
Nobody died.
Right, we're 2 now, 2 in a row. Nobody's died,
You see?
and
I-
you see, and
I don't have to kill
nobody
people.
died.
I don't have to kill
Nobody
people.
died, and now I'm moving towards my story. However, every episode for 4 episodes, someone died. We
Hey,
meet someone, they die.
death hooks people. It brings people together.
It makes us scared about talking to people.
Good.
We can't make friends because they die.
No, you can make friends. You can make friends. You've
My
got.
last friend gave me a bell and then died.
He did. He did.
Huh?
My
Uh,
friend here turned around and locked the door after I left.
That was not your friend.
Wow.
And
Damn.
the only friends you've made in the
Seems like
city,
such a nice lady, right?
such a nice lady until you gave her your name.
Yeah, she knows not to say that again.
The friends that you have are the cook and his daughter in the Vesten area.
Oh no. He
They're gonna
called
be
them
good
our
people.
friend.
They're gonna be good
Now-
people.
Now they're gonna die.
They're not gonna die. But I want to thank you guys for joining us, for being part of this, for letting me run this for you. As always, we take mental health on the channel very seriously. If you feel like you need help, please reach out. Know that there's no shame in asking for help, and it is okay to not be okay. But if you need help, there are phone numbers going up live in our Twitch chat if you're watching. They'll be in the description box if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not in the United States, there is a link going up as well, so you can find the resources in your area or closest to you. Because, like I said, mental health is part of our general health, and it is important to us here that you are able to have the resources you need so you can get the help that you deserve. As always, I am having a good time with this story. I hope that you are as well. On Mondays, we do Vampire the Masquerade. It's a dual story. There's a Anarch chapter and a Camarilla chapter that rotates. We've been taking Tuesdays off this month, and we'll probably take a few of them off next month. But normally we do Legend of the Five Rings or Werewolf of the Wild West. Fortunately, I think Legend of the Five Rings is heading towards its conclusion. So I got to figure out what I want to replace there. And every other Thursday, we're going to be here for 7th Sea for the foreseeable future. If you want to catch me somewhere else, you can catch me on McStabber Studios on Wednesday, where I get to play a La Sombra in a Dark Ages game that they're running over there. And until the end of this month, I get to run Star Wars on Friday. They just met Exar Kun before the fall. And so things are really interesting as far as that goes, because we know what happens to him. It's going to be a good time when it does. For me, at least. As always, though, I want to give you guys a chance to let the people know where they can find you. So, Angel, where are you on the internet if you want to be found, and what are you up to?
So I am Mr. Wolfhammer on TikTok, Instagram,
TikToks.
Patreon, and everything else. Anything else. You search Wolfhammer, Mr. Wolfhammer, you'll find me. I am not doing anything interesting right now. I am so tired. I am so worn out. The only thing of use that I am doing is I work with the SCA, and so if you're in Central Florida and you feel like going out in the heat and playing in full armor, we'll be in Ocala doing some practices.
I just found out on Monday that one of my Camarilla vampires is also SCA.
Small world,
So
small known.
yeah. May, where are you on the internet if you want to be found, and what are you up to?
I live on the internet, so you will find me everywhere on the internet, not only on Twitter, Twitch, as well as TikTok. I did the thingy with the meta thing.
Oh,
I'm in Instagram and a whole bunch of other stuff.
you did
So you could
threads.
just. I just started and I really haven't done anything much, but hi, I'm here. That's as far as I went.
All right, I'll ask you how it goes.
Yeah, don't ask me for at least a couple of months. You also can find me. I am the storyteller on the RPG table every Saturday because I can't say words apparently. You'll find me here. You'll find me on McStabbers every Wednesday playing the Assamite, supposedly Toreador. And then you will find me there until the end of this month playing Star Wars, where I'm a smuggler. Mom was a Jedi.
Yup,
My life is fucked.
100%.
You will find me on the roll call every Sunday, or mostly every Sunday, doing DC by Night. You'll also find me on Cajun Nights Discord server, where I am a mod for all of your World of Darkness needs.
Busy schedule.
always
Freggy,
busy.
where are you on the internet if you want to be found, and what are you up to?
Well, you can find me under my personal account on social media, Mr. Underscore, with the underscore in between each word. You can also follow me on TikTok through Crit or Die. You'll start seeing a lot of ADHD type stuff that I've done when it comes to D&D and when it comes to actual like fandom and geek stuff that I geek over, including Magic the Gathering. I also like I was saying the last time we released our my band that I'm in here in South Florida, Black Cat, we released our single called Black Cat, and hopefully that will then get us the enough gumption to move out and actually start playing shows, stuff like that.
I'm excited.
Other than that, you'll catch me here on this show. You'll catch me also with the Anarchs because who cares about the tower? So you'll catch me with the Anarchs on every other Monday as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Listen, the Camarilla crew told me that they weren't going to be able to meet on a Monday, and we're supposed to have a game. So I reached out to two particular people that I think we're going to have a very interesting Camarilla episode that Monday.
Okay.
Just be aware that's coming.
You piqued my interest.
Yeah, you might want to watch that episode. That might give you some new a new perspective on the tower.
Okay.
If my Monday night game gets canceled, I am tackling Chewy to try and get into this vampire game.
There are two tables. I'm probably we'll talk about that. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for joining us, the audience, and thank you guys for letting me run you through 7C. We will see you when we see you. Please stay safe out there. Be kind, because being nice is performative. Being kind is genuine. You don't know how much that might change the trajectory of somebody's life. And we'll see you when we see you. All right, bye, guys.